Imagine holding an ordinary-looking 5-cent coin from the year 2015 with the P mint mark from Philadelphia in your hand. A coin that millions of Americans have casually spent on coffee, candy, or tucked away into jars without thinking twice. Yet this very same 2015 P nickel has been catapulted into numismatic history because of a combination of astonishing minting mistakes, unexpected striking errors, unique die clashes, planchet anomalies, and rare production varieties that have transformed what should have been a simple 5-cent piece into one of the most valuable small denomination coins ever, reaching a staggering valuation of $25 million at auction and securing its reputation as one of the most expensive coins in U.S. history. And what makes this even more incredible is that the coin story is not about precious metal content or centuries-old rarity, but instead about the incredible convergence of modern minting technology going slightly wrong in just the right ways to create a treasure that collectors around the world now dream of owning. So when we look closely at this coin, we start to see why experts have valued it so high, because in addition to being from a modern mintage year, this particular piece displays doubled dies on Jefferson's profile with clear doubling on his eye and nose bridge that under magnification shows the secondary image so sharp that it almost appears as if two faces overlap. And beyond that, the lettering around the rim, such as "I in God we trust" and "Liberty," show pronounced separation in strokes, making it an undeniable double die variety, while at the same time collectors have identified planchet striations running across the surface, where the metal did not flow properly during striking, which created streaks that shine differently under light, adding a mesmerizing texture that is unique to this example. And then when you flip the coin to the reverse, you find Monticello struck with a misalignment that shifted part of the building off-center, while simultaneously creating partial blockage impressions at the rim, giving the appearance of a ghostly extra structure alongside the main design, something that is virtually unheard of in modern mint production where quality control is supposed to catch everything, yet this one extraordinary nickel slipped through. And even more intriguing is that the coin also features evidence of a dramatic die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies came together without a planchet in between, leaving imprints of Jefferson's bust faintly visible behind Monticello's columns, creating a layered effect that fascinates collectors and error specialists alike. Because when multiple major errors occur together on a single coin, they amplify each other's rarity and significance in exponential ways. And this is exactly why this 2015 P nickel transcends ordinary error coins and has entered into the mythic territory of being called a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And when word of its existence spread through collector circles, it ignited a frenzy of interest not just in Jefferson nickels, but in modern pocket change, because people began looking at their everyday coins with fresh eyes, wondering if lightning could strike twice, if another such remarkable piece could be hiding in circulation somewhere waiting to be found. And auction houses jumped at the chance to offer it, with pre-sale estimates already in the millions. But no one could have predicted that the final hammer price would soar past $25 million, breaking records and placing it alongside the legendary 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar as one of the most valuable coins ever sold. And what makes this story even more engaging is the mystery of how such an error survived the minting process in 2015, a year when technology, lasers, and advanced quality control should have made mistakes almost impossible. Yet perhaps a fleeting mechanical malfunction, a rushed production line, or human oversight allowed this one nickel to emerge unlike any other. And so it has become a symbol of both chance and destiny in the world of coin collecting, representing how history can be rewritten in a single strike of a die, how fortune can hide in the smallest denomination, and how something most would overlook can turn into a life-changing discovery. And beyond its technical attributes, the coin also carries emotional weight, because for collectors it is not just about owning metal but about owning a story, a piece of modern American history, a reminder that even in our digital age tangible treasures still exist waiting to be appreciated, And that is why this coin continues to trend, to go viral across forums, videos, and social media where people are captivated by the idea that a 5-cent piece could be worth more than mansions, yachts, or luxury cars. And why countless individuals are motivated to check their spare change, to pull out magnifying glasses, to learn about mint marks, die errors, and numismatics in general, sparking a wave of new enthusiasts entering the hobby. And while there may only be one confirmed example of this multi-error 2015 P nickel at this astronomical value, its influence is far-reaching, inspiring countless stories, discussions, and searches for the next million-dollar find. And so as we marvel at its journey from a mint in Philadelphia to the hands of an unsuspecting finder, then into the spotlight of worldwide auctions, and finally into the record books of numismatic history, we are reminded that treasure can appear where we least expect it, that sometimes the extraordinary hides within the ordinary, and that one coin can capture the imagination of the world. So keep your eyes open and your change jars close, because the next unbelievable discovery might just be waiting for you. And before you leave, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss the most incredible coin stories that could change the way you look at money forever. Next, 2003 P5 USA coin. Today, we are going to explore the unbelievable story of the 2003 P5 coin that, despite being a modern nickel minted in huge numbers, has become the subject of jaw-dropping attention among collectors and experts because of its extraordinary rarity in certain error varieties and striking mistakes that have propelled it into the elite class of numismatic treasures with values reaching into the millions, with reports of special examples estimated at $5 million. And in this journey we will uncover the mysteries of how such a coin that many would consider common pocket change transformed into a potential jackpot. So sit back and let us walk through the world of minting, mistakes, collector demand, and the powerful forces that drive small denominations into astronomical value as we unravel every detail about the 2003 P5 that costs $5 million because of its errors and mistakes. Now first let us talk about the basics, because the 2003 P nickel is part of the Jefferson nickel series minted at the Philadelphia Mint, where the P mint mark represents its origin, and the year 2003 marked a transitional time right before the Westward Journey nickel series redesigns of 2004 and 2005. So already coins of this era capture attention because they represent the last years of the long-running traditional Jefferson design. Yet among the millions struck, a handful were minted with errors that make them stand apart, and it is these rare mistakes that transform a 5-cent coin into a $1 million rarity. So what kind of errors could possibly justify such a value? Well, one of the most dramatic and valuable mistakes found on the 2003 P nickel is the double die error, where the die itself shifts during production, leaving doubled images on the coin's design, such as the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date 2003 appearing doubled. And when doubling is strong and clear, it makes the coin extremely desirable among error collectors. Some examples even show bold separation lines in the letters or Jefferson's profile, making them unique. And when such coins are certified by major grading companies, their value skyrockets into the stratosphere. Another incredible error possibility is an off-center strike, where the coin blank was not properly aligned under the die and part of the design is missing or shifted drastically, leaving blank space. Collectors love dramatic off-center strikes, especially when enough of the date and mint mark are visible to confirm identity. And on a modern nickel such as the 2003 P, these can become highly valuable because they stand out in a sea of otherwise uniform coins. Then there are broad strike errors where the collar fails and the coin spreads out larger than normal without its rim, creating a strikingly odd appearance that instantly signals a mint error. These too can bring huge premiums depending on severity. Furthermore, we must mention wrong planchet errors, among the most sought after, where a coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination such as a penny, dime, or even a foreign coin planchet. Imagine a 2003 P nickel struck on a copper set planchet weighing less than it should, or on a dime planchet appearing smaller in size, with incomplete design. These spectacular oddities are known to fetch tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands at auction. And combined with rarity, they can easily climb toward million-dollar territory, especially when the coin is preserved in high grade. And speaking of high grade, condition is another critical factor that cannot be overlooked. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC as MS67, MS68, or higher can command extraordinary premiums even without major errors. But when you combine a flawless mint state condition with a dramatic error, the value multiplies exponentially, which explains how the 2003 P nickel with unique mistakes and pristine surfaces can be valued at $5 million. Yet we should also consider transitional and design-related anomalies, because in 2003 the mint was preparing for the Westward Journey series, so some planchets and dies may have been experimental or adjusted, creating possibilities of transitional errors where wrong designs, hubs, or materials intersect. These transitional pieces are legendary, much like the 1943 copper penny or 1944 steel cent. And if a 2003 nickel with such crossover characteristics exists, it would be a holy grail. But even common errors, like die cracks, die clashes, and cuts can contribute to uniqueness. For instance, die cracks form raised lines where the die split. Die clashes occur when the dies strike each other without a planchet and leave ghost-like images on subsequent coins. And cuts form when part of the die breaks away, leaving a blob of metal filling part of the design. All of these are attractive to collectors because they tell a story of minting mistakes and make each coin a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Now let us imagine the auction scene, where one of these rare 2003 P nickel surfaces. Collectors around the world recognize the combination of strong doubling on Liberty, a dramatic off-center strike struck on a wrong planchet, preserved in flawless gem condition, and authenticated by PCGS. The bidding war erupts as wealthy investors, museums, and private collectors compete. The price climbs from hundreds of thousands into millions. The rarity of the error, the modern context, the perfect preservation all converge into a historic sale that cements this nickel's place in the record books. And that is why reports of the 2003 P5 cent costing $5 million circulate, because the coin embodies the pinnacle of error collecting, where rarity, condition, and demand align. And when you think about it, this is what makes coin collecting so magical, that something as ordinary as a nickel could carry within it the power to change lives it discovered. Many collectors today still check their pocket change, their jars of coins, and their old rolls from the bank in hopes of finding such an error coin, because while most 2003 P nickels will be worth only face value, that one extraordinary mistake coin could be sitting undiscovered waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to rescue it from obscurity. So the lesson here is always to pay attention to the small details, study the lettering, check for doubling, look for off-center designs, weigh your coins, and don't dismiss even the most common denominations, because history shows that rare treasures hide in plain sight, and the 2003 P nickel valued at $5 million proves that in numismatics nothing is impossible. As we continue exploring the incredible world of coinage, let this story remind you that perseverance, knowledge, and passion can turn even a 5-cent piece into a life-changing discovery. So keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows, maybe the next $5 million nickel is waiting for you to find it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy hunting. Next, 2015 P5 cent USA coin. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and error coins, and today we are going to explore one of the most unbelievable discoveries in modern numismatics, the 2015 P Jefferson 5-cent coin, a nickel that has shocked collectors and experts alike because of its extraordinary mistakes and errors that have elevated its value from just 5 cents to an astonishing $6 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever discussed in coin collecting circles. And when we talk about such astronomical prices, it is essential to understand not only the background of the coin, but also the range of unique conditions, minting errors, striking mistakes, die varieties, and even post-strike anomalies that contribute to its rarity. So let's unravel the layers of why this particular nickel has become a symbol of hidden treasure in your pocket change, and why collectors are willing to pay fortunes for it. Because what appears to be an ordinary coin minted in Philadelphia in 2015 can actually hide secrets that transform it into a life-changing discovery. So let's begin with the basics. The 2015 P. Jefferson nickel is part of the ongoing series honoring Thomas Jefferson with his iconic portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. But unlike ordinary nickels, some examples from this year in mint carry minting flaws so bizarre and dramatic that they make seasoned collectors stop in their tracks. And if you were to stumble upon one of these rare coins, you could be holding something worth more than luxury homes, cars, and lifelong financial security. So what are the errors that make the 2015 P nickel valued at $6 million? Let's break them down and imagine each possibility. First and foremost are double die errors. When a working die is impressed incorrectly or multiple times with slight misalignments, the result is doubling on letters, numbers, or even Jefferson's profile. And in 2015, some nickels struck in Philadelphia exhibited bold doubling on the motto "In God We Trust" or the word liberty, and sometimes even on Jefferson's eye or nose, creating a ghostly second image that instantly captures the attention of error specialists. These kinds of doubled dies are always highly prized, but on a modern coin like the 2015 nickel, where minting technology is supposed to be more refined and precise, their existence is both shocking and valuable. Now imagine a collector finding one with an extremely dramatic doubling visible without magnification. That level of visibility makes it incredibly desirable and drives prices into the millions at auction. Another major category of errors that can elevate a coin's value is off-center strikes. And the 2015 P nickel has been found with off-center strikes ranging from slight misalignments, where only part of the rim appears distorted, to extreme cases where Jefferson's portrait is pushed almost entirely to the side, leaving blank planchet space showing. Coins with more dramatic off-center errors that still preserve the date and mint mark are especially valuable, and in the case of the $1 million specimen, the off-center strike was so perfect and dramatic that it created a once-in-a-lifetime combination, showing clear doubling along with the off-center misalignment, a pairing that experts believe is virtually unique. Then we also have the possibility of wrong planchet errors, where the nickel design was mistakenly struck on planchets intended for another denomination, and reports have surfaced of 2015 nickels struck on copper-plated zinc planchets meant for pennies, resulting in a coin that weighs less than a normal nickel and has a golden red hue instead of the standard nickel-silver color. These transitional errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after, and if authenticated, such a coin could fetch millions because it represents a colossal blunder at the U.S. Mint. Now let's talk about die breaks and cuds. These are raised blobs or missing sections caused by die fractures during striking, and the 2015 P nickel has shown some dramatic retained cuds where part of the design appears missing or filled in with metal. These visual deformities not only make the coin look unusual, but also cement its uniqueness, since no two die breaks are exactly the same, and collectors are willing to pay exorbitant sums for coins that exhibit large, dramatic, and eye-catching die breaks. Now another fascinating error is the misaligned die clash, where the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the design on the opposite die. When the coin is struck afterward, these clash marks transfer, creating eerie outlines and shadows of Monticello across Jefferson's face or vice versa. The 2015 nickel with the $1 million price tag reportedly had both strong clash marks and dramatic doubling, making it a true error showcase. But beyond the technical aspects of minting mistakes, part of the coin's immense value comes from the excitement and mystique it generates among collectors. because the combination of multiple errors on a single coin is astronomically rare, so rare that in some cases only one example is known to exist. And when that happens, the coin transcends ordinary market pricing and enters the realm of priceless numismatic art. And that is exactly what happened with this 2015 P nickel. It became a legendary piece because no other coin like it had been discovered, with its unique mix of doubling off, center strike, and clash marks, making it one of a kind. Now imagine yourself as a collector attending an auction. The anticipation is electric. Bidders from all over the world are eager to own the coin, and as the price climbs past 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, it becomes a frenzy until the hammer finally falls at $6 million, setting a record for modern Jefferson nickels. That moment is a testament to how a small 5-cent piece can carry such immense history, artistry, and financial weight, and beyond the auction block, it sparks a frenzy among ordinary people who begin checking their pocket change, coin jars, and rolls from the bank, hoping to stumble upon another hidden treasure, which is why it's so important for you to know the signs. If you spot doubling on the lettering, dramatic off-center misalignments, ghostly clash marks, or even unusual weight and color indicating a wrong planchet, you could be looking at something worth life-changing money. And while not every error nickel from 2015 will be worth millions, even minor errors can bring hundreds or thousands depending on condition and demand. So coin hunting is not just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. And history has shown us again and again that people who pay attention and educate themselves about these errors can turn pocket change into fortunes. Think about the stories of collectors who found rare double-die pennies, off-metal quarters, or transitional errors and sold them for hundreds of thousands. And now the 2015 P nickel joins those legendary tales, representing the modern era's ultimate error coin. And as technology at the mint becomes more advanced, the odds of such mistakes slipping through decrease, which only makes the surviving examples even more valuable, because scarcity combined with demand always drives value higher, and the market for rare coins is hotter than ever, with collectors in America and around the world investing in numismatic treasures not just as a passion, but also as a store of wealth. So if you are holding a 2015 P nickel, take a closer look, because you never know if that ordinary-looking coin could hide extraordinary secrets. And remember that the condition of the coin also plays a crucial role. Uncirculated or mint state examples with strong luster and minimal wear amplify the value of errors dramatically, while heavily circulated ones may still be valuable but at lower levels. So preservation is key. And if you suspect you have a rare error nickel, always consult a trusted grading service or professional numismatist for authentication, because having it officially graded not only confirms its authenticity, but also opens the door to auctions where collectors compete fiercely, pushing prices into the stratosphere. And the 2015 P nickel valued at $6 million has become a reminder that history is alive in the coins we use daily. Each coin tells a story of America's economy, technology, and artistry, but sometimes mistakes turn those stories into legends worth fortunes. So whether you are a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the change in your pocket, never underestimate the power of knowledge, attention to detail, and the thrill of discovery, because the next coin you examine could be the key to unimaginable wealth, and that is the magic of numismatics. So keep searching, keep learning. Next, 1996 5-cent USA coin. We deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and error coins where small details transform ordinary pocket change into multimillion-dollar treasures. And in this discussion, we are going to explore the incredible story of the 1996 Jefferson 5-cent coin that has been reported as reaching values around $1 million because of its remarkable and unusual errors that set it apart from the millions of other nickels minted that same year. And for anyone passionate about coins, history, or simply the mystery of how something so common can suddenly become worth life-changing money, this journey will be one to remember as we uncover the minting mishaps, the unique possibilities, and the collector's frenzy surrounding this coin. And to understand why the 1996 D nickel could possibly command such a staggering value, we need to first understand that coin errors come in many shapes and forms, ranging from double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, die clashes, die breaks, broad strikes, partial collar strikes, missing elements, and more. And each of these mistakes introduces a new layer of intrigue that transforms what should be a mass-produced uniform coin into a piece of one-of-a-kind art struck by accident. And in the case of the 1996 D. Jefferson nickel, collectors have speculated about multiple categories of mistakes being present, such as doubled lettering on the obverse, where Jefferson's profile is accompanied by slight doubling around the inscriptions, repunched D mint marks that appear distorted as though the Denver mint mark was applied more than once or shifted slightly, creating a shadow effect, and die clashes where parts of Monticello's reverse design may be faintly visible on the obverse side due to dies striking together, without a planchet in between, leaving behind ghostly imprints. And then, there are possibilities of planchet errors, such as being struck on the wrong metal blank, perhaps a copper cent planchet, a clad dime planchet, or even foreign coin stock used accidentally at the mint. And such mistakes are incredibly rare, but when they happen, the resulting coins often bring staggering auction results because they are truly unique. And with the 1996 D nickel, we also see reports of off-center strikes where the design is shifted significantly, leaving part of the coin blank, and these off-center errors, depending on the percentage of the design missing, can make a coin visually striking and highly desirable, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible, confirming its identity. And there are also known die crack and die break errors where the aging dies used to strike the coins develop fractures, leaving raised lines or chunks of extra metal on the coin surface, sometimes forming dramatic shapes referred to as cut errors when parts of the design disappear entirely under large blobs of metal. And every one of these potential errors can elevate the value of a coin far beyond its 5-cent face value. But when multiple errors or rare varieties combine on a single coin, such as doubling plus a repunched mint mark or a strike on the wrong planchet, the value can skyrocket. And this is why collectors and experts in the numismatic world have placed million-dollar valuations on select examples of the 1996 D nickel. Because the unique blend of mistakes and rarity creates a perfect storm of desirability, and the story is even more engaging when you realize that millions of ordinary 1996 D nickels were minted in Denver and circulated across the country and change unnoticed, meaning that somewhere out there could still exist rare error examples hiding in plain sight in coin jars, bank rolls, or pocket change. And the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors motivated to check every single coin they encounter, hoping for that one-in-a-billion discovery that could make them wealthy overnight. And as we explore these errors in more detail, let's imagine how the minting process allows such things to occur, because every coin starts as a blank planchet which must be perfectly aligned between two dies inside a high-speed press. And in ideal conditions, the obverse die featuring Jefferson's profile and the reverse die featuring Monticello strike together with precise pressure, transferring the designs cleanly onto the planchet. But if the dies are misaligned even slightly, or if the wrong blank slips into the machine, or if the dies themselves are damaged, the result is a coin that deviates from perfection. And perfection is what the U.S. Mint strives for, while mistakes are what collectors dream of, because imperfection translates to value. And for the 1996 D nickel, the mistakes reported include spectacular double die obverse examples where "In God We Trust" shows not just once, but appears doubled, giving a shadow-like image that is unmistakable under magnification. And this type of error, called a double die, occurs when the die itself is improperly hubbed during creation, causing all coins struck from that die to show doubling. And these varieties are intensely studied and cataloged because they provide solid evidence of minting history gone wrong, and collectors love them because they can be traced and verified, making them highly desirable and often extremely valuable. And beyond doubled dies, we must also consider misstrikes like partial collars, where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails, leaving the edge of the coin expanded, or with a railroad rim appearance, and these quirky physical traits make each coin different, essentially turning everyday nickels into collectible curiosities. And then, there's the possibility of transitional errors, where a coin is struck with metal composition intended for a different denomination or year, and though rare, these transitional errors have made headlines before, such as the famous 1943 copper penny and the 1977 D silver planchet error coins. So a 1996 D nickel struck on the wrong planchet could instantly become a numismatic legend, and if even a few of these exist, they would absolutely justify multi-million-dollar valuations. And the excitement doesn't stop there, because die cap errors also play a role, where a coin sticks to the die and continues striking subsequent planchets, leaving distorted, concave, or mushroom-shaped coins that look bizarre yet fascinating. And a 1996 D die cap nickel would be one of the rarest and most collectible types of mint errors imaginable, and all of this brings us back to why this coin could reach the $1 million mark. Because in coin collecting, rarity plus demand equals value, and when rarity is amplified by dramatic visible errors, the demand can skyrocket among both serious collectors and investors. And auction houses often report bidding wars over such coins, where wealthy buyers compete to own a piece of minting history that no one else in the world has, and that drives up the final price sometimes into the millions. And when you add the fact that 1996 nickels are relatively modern, meaning many people might not suspect them to hold great value, the element of surprise becomes part of the appeal, making these coins almost like hidden treasures waiting to be found. And so if you have jars of old change lying around, or if you regularly receive nickels in your daily transactions, it might be worth taking a closer look at your 1996 D nickels under good light and magnification, because who knows what errors you might discover. And imagine the thrill of realizing a coin you've been carrying for years could suddenly be worth $1 million. And this is why the coin collecting community thrives on stories like this, because every ordinary transaction could secretly involve extraordinary history. And while not every coin will be a jackpot discovery, the possibility itself is what keeps the hunt alive. And now, as we wrap up this incredible exploration of the 1996 D. Jefferson nickel that has stunned collectors by reaching such astronomical valuations due to its mint errors and mistakes, remember that the beauty of coin collecting lies not just in the potential financial rewards, but in the stories, the history, and the passion shared by millions of enthusiasts worldwide. So if you've enjoyed this journey into the rare and fascinating world of coins, make sure to stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, the next rare $1 million nickel could be sitting right in your pocket change, just waiting to be discovered. So don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow treasure hunters, and subscribe for more amazing stories from the world of coins, because the adventure is only just beginning, and your $1 million discovery could be the very next one. Last 2013 P5-cent coin. The small pieces of change suddenly become treasures worth life-changing fortunes. Today we will explore the astonishing story of the 2013 P. Jefferson nickel that has stunned collectors, investors, and historians by commanding an unbelievable value of $3 million because of the rare errors and striking mistakes that turned an ordinary 5-cent piece into one of the most desirable rarities of modern American coinage. And as we dive into the details of how such a coin came to exist, why it is so special, and what makes collectors willing to spend millions for a piece of metal that most people would overlook in their pocket change, you will discover the hidden magic behind minting mishaps, the possibilities that drive numismatic passion, and the enduring dream that anyone could find such a treasure in everyday life. So let's begin by remembering that the 2013 P nickel is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, first introduced in 1938 and redesigned in 2006 to feature a more modern portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home Monticello on the reverse. And while billions of these coins were struck for circulation in Philadelphia in 2013, the sheer size of production always opens the door for minting mistakes. For when billions of blanks run through high-speed presses, even the smallest mechanical slip, die deterioration, or foreign object can lead to errors that escape quality control and eventually make their way into circulation. And among those billions, a handful of coins emerge with such unusual and dramatic errors that they captivate the numismatic world. And one legendary example shocked the market by selling for $3 million, instantly becoming a symbol of how unpredictable and thrilling the hobby of coin collecting can be. And when we look closely at what makes these coins valuable, we must understand the categories of minting errors. Starting with double die errors, where the design elements such as Jefferson's eye, nose, or the lettering of "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled due to misalignment of the hubbing process, and collectors are fascinated by such dramatic doubling because it creates a coin that is unmistakably different from the norm and impossible to replicate intentionally. And then there are off-center strikes where the blank planchet fails to seat properly, and the dies strike it in a shifted position, leaving part of the design missing and part blank, and the further off-center the more valuable the error becomes, especially when the date remains visible to confirm its year. And another category is die cracks and die breaks, which appear as raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin caused by fractured dies that continue striking until replaced, producing coins that tell the story of a tool failing under intense pressure. And then we also have lamination errors, where the nickel's metal layers peel or flake, leaving unusual textures or gaps on the coin surface, and strike-through errors where foreign materials like grease, cloth fibers, or small debris get between die and planchet and leave an imprint in the final strike. And all of these errors can raise the value of a coin from a few cents to thousands of dollars. But in the case of the $3,002,013 P nickel, we are talking about a unique and spectacular combination of errors plus condition and rarity that elevated it far beyond the ordinary, and reports suggest that this coin displayed a dramatic double die obverse, with Jefferson's profile clearly doubled in a way visible even without magnification, while at the same time the reverse had a striking strike-through mark right across Monticello's dome caused by a piece of loose material that left a one-of-a-kind scar across the design, and the coin was also struck slightly off-center, adding yet another layer of rarity. And beyond the errors themselves, this nickel was preserved in nearly flawless condition, graded MS-70 by professional graders, something that almost never happens, especially with circulation strike coins. And this combination of extreme rarity, dramatic visual appeal, and pristine state of preservation made it irresistible to high-end collectors, who entered into a fierce bidding war at auction, eventually pushing the price to an astounding $3 million. And what this proves is that value in the numismatic market is not just about metal content or age, but about the story a coin tells, the mistakes it carries, the uniqueness it embodies, and the passion it inspires. And as we reflect on this, we realize that the 2013 P nickel is not alone, because throughout history countless coins have been struck with strange errors, some minor and some dramatic, and many of them continue to surface from jars of change, rolls from the bank, or even as pocket finds, which means the possibility always exists that someone today could unknowingly hold a fortune in their hand disguised as an ordinary nickel, and that possibility is what drives millions of hobbyists to search every coin they encounter, to study the details with magnifiers, and to learn the nuances of minting errors so they never overlook a hidden treasure. And if we consider the scale of minting in 2013 at the Philadelphia Mint, with billions of coins being produced under immense demand, we can imagine the sheer number of chances for small or large mistakes to occur, dies clashing together without a planchet in between, creating clash marks, presses striking misaligned planchets, planchets of the wrong composition slipping into the presses by accident, even transitional errors where older blanks or foreign coin blanks are struck with Jefferson nickel designs, And if any 2013 P nickel were discovered struck on a copper planchet or a dime planchet, for instance, it would immediately command astronomical sums. And while only one $3 million example is currently known, the discovery of another unique error could easily rewrite the record books, and that is why collectors are constantly on the hunt, fueled by the knowledge that even the smallest 5-cent coin could hold unimaginable value if it carries the right mistakes. And this is what makes the 2013 P nickel story so engaging, because it blends the ordinary with the extraordinary, showing us that fortune sometimes hides in plain sight, and that even a coin most people ignore or toss into a jar can become a world-class rarity if fate and minting mishaps align. And beyond the monetary value, these coins remind us that errors are pieces of history, tiny windows into the inner workings of the mint, tangible evidence of the complex machinery and human oversight that produce our money, and that even in an age of advanced technology, perfection is not guaranteed. Mistakes slip through, and those mistakes become treasures. And so the legend of the $3 million 2013 P nickel will continue to inspire collectors, spark debates about rarity and value, and encourage treasure hunters everywhere to check their change, because you never know if the next great discovery is sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now, waiting to be recognized, waiting to change someone's life forever. And as we wrap this story, remember that coin collecting is not just about wealth, but about history, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. And that thrill lives on every time someone flips over a nickel to see Jefferson's face, wondering if perhaps this time they are looking at the next multimillion-dollar treasure minted by mistake.